Welcome to my channel. I'm Shawn and I will be reading you a story. Today's story has a graphic depiction of violence, so maybe this story is not meant for you. You've been warned. If you keep watching this video, you'll be doing that at your own responsibility. So, let's begin. Today's story is called Scopes of Love. I was not allowed to close my eyes, not even for a second, but the sleep was alluring me into its bliss of darkness. I turned off my bionic arm just in case I sink into the silence and accidentally pulled the trigger. There it stood on the ground, my dead arm resting on the rubble, sleeping more tightly than I ever could, making me jealous. Old tricks didn't work like they used to. Taking a deep breath that simulated drowning didn't help. Not even the bolt of power I hate myself with hasn't made me more sober. "Are you watching the terrain?" A raspy voice called me in the comms, turning my vision on and stretching a grid over the demolished street. "Yep, all clear," I proclaimed, my voice too soft and fading. "You must be hurt. Losing energy?" He continued, like it was a joke to him. "My oil tank has sprung a leak. Everything is heating up. The battery is running low. But don't worry," I said and checked the communications, because he went silent for a moment. "I can call the medevac team and get you a medic. Don't go all G.I. Jane on me. There's already enough scrap metal lying useless." His tone made me smirk a bit. "Are you worried or just in love?" The question led him guessing the answer, which came as a dim laughter. "In love with the country, binded by the sacred duty, tasked with an objective." Saying the maxim wasn't that entertaining. Even he gave his best. "Still believing in that crap. You make me waste precious energy on small talk. We'll hear from you later. Over and out." It only took a blink of an eye to disconnect and get back to silence. I closed my eyes and everything went pink for a moment. When an angry hit brought me back, energy buzzed through the arm and it was alive again. My finger danced over the sensitive trigger when my vision, in red grid, took over the sight. Camera shifted in thermal vision before it gained focus on the enemy, approaching me from the mist. Technological Pattern outlined their form, giving me a clear view on the cyborgs that wielded powerful rifles. Aiming program took over the targets, marking their weak points with lasers. Energy surge transformed my sight onto the scope, rendering a sniper active. In twitching bursts, the fire rained on them, like comets that pierced their metal skulls, where pink haze covered the bleak and watery air, moving around their bodies like a smoke of a cigarette. I stopped their attack, but a hail of bullets landed on me. Their grenades exploded around me, ripped my leg off, causing the oil to spill in streams. Merging with dirty water I laid into to bring down the temperature. "Sophia!" An echo came in broken signal, every word glitching in my head. The field hospital was set in the outer perimeter, where I was brought to the operating table and surgeons were summoned to fix me up. It took them a few moments to run the full body scan, link with my drive, and pull the data from my life support. Luckily, the drive had its own power source. The procedure went without problems, so the only thing I was left to do is to adjust to the upgrade. Taken to the nearby building for recovery, I was able to stare at the ceiling and nothing more. My body was dependent on the remote support, as my sudden move could cause a bodily harm, reject the new parts, flinch, and bury my metal fist in the head. It was a precaution, a way for me to get to know all of my functions. A familiar face showed up one morning, moved the blind so I can see the light entering the room. My receptors picked up a smell of jasmine in the air. "I shouldn't even ask where you have found those." "So don't, just rest. You did a good job out there. When I gave my report to the command, they had to call back and see if I was lying. I hope you don't mind, but I took a moment to copy your analytics from the rifle. I sent him that as an evidence," he said, moving around the room. "Purple Heart? I asked without a move, left him battle the cracking electronic voice of mine. Possibly. Not sure. They haven't said anything. You already have to. I'd ask them to be retired with honors and collect the bonus on my way out. But you'd ask them for a bigger gun. Completely true. He knew me better than I knew myself. What can a broken fembot do when it gets back to society? Work at the diner? Serve some brat for a toy? Be someone's mistress in the late hours? I'd rather die a hero than be a cheap treat on a back seat. Coolness radiated with my tone when I heard him gasp, standing by the window. And then you paint me an ultra-patriot. You fight for different reasons. Don't get me into this iron versus meat debate. I know this subject is separating friendships over a different stance. Maybe we were made in totally opposite ways and we can't bridge those two. I don't know. I never pose myself as I do, but I think about it. The pondering went on, yet I had no intention of hearing his political views. That wasn't on my mind. I am 40% machine. People tell me to pick a lane when they see me. Only veterans and older folk appreciate our existence. They read the news. They see our troops fighting on, and that is enough to inspire the patriotism in them. Only few do understand it to the core. I see it as grief in their eyes, like they pity my body parts, value me less human, or remorse because their children are not of the same aspirations. So, do they really understand, or just play a nice person? How will you behave when you get home and see one of us on the street? I managed to turn my head toward him and saw a dark specter of his broad back in the light. I'll try to be courteous, as that is a human thing to do. My wife is kind of obsessed with all that technology and rights. My girls do use devices and all, and I find no problem. I belong to a fuller generation that saw many changes in the world, but never been one to lead the charge. Just accept the terms and hand-feed the money to the big firms. If you ask me what kind of a man I am, I stopped buying the tech products when I learned they still use children and cyborgs in factories. He looked at me over his shoulder and got back to combing his beard while staring through the window. So, what is your dream after you finish your tour? I am an old-fashioned guy. I'll open a shop, sell stuff, and be my own master. No enthusiasm, just as I suspected. He had other plans, but he was unwilling to share them with me. I gave up dreaming. The sentence ended poorly, and I wanted to say something else, but hadn't. My savior respected the silence. He turned and came closer to the bed where he took a seat. With inquisitive eyes, he stared at me, moved a lock of hair from a fractured mask that was made to look human, non-threatening to others who might see it among them. You don't know where the future will lead you. You could be on the moon, a member of the guards, and spend your life there. Stop bitching and find another directive to guide you. He shouted and waved away, clearly frustrated with my attitude. You would want me to be your lover in the nightly sky, while you howl at the moon like a wounded wolf. You already have a family. They are waiting for your return with open arms. There is nobody waiting for me back home. I moved my face aside and heard his nostrils whistling with air. Ah, Sophia, you knew I had a family before you threw yourself into my arms. Don't tell me I just used you when you were weak. You said, he began, but I stopped him. I know what I said. I don't hate you or put blame on you for what happened. I wanted that. I needed that. And I made you do it. I am well aware of my actions, and I'd never hold that against you. Neither I wish to come with you and be your maid, so that you can visit me when everybody's not around. I didn't want to turn and see his reaction, but I felt his compassionate touch on my shoulder. Damn it, girl. What would you like me to do? Nothing. I should pay you back somehow, not the other way around. You saved me, remember? Just let me heal and give me my gun back. If you want a suicide, I'm not helping you with that. I can spot targets for you, bring you ammo and carry your gear. But don't pull me to your hell, he proclaimed. And you will look out for me, my savior. Touching words, yet he shook it off. And if I'm gone, I won't be here forever. Find another thing to keep you busy. If you push it, I'll have to pass a report to the control to discharge you. You will become a liability for the unit. Nobody likes a blue falcon, he added, holding the doorknob. Maybe I was stubborn, suicidal and angry. My AI tried to keep me in check, rubbed my brain to release endorphin, put a smile on my mask. The dose was insufficient. I was testing my arms when a letter came from the command. A discharge note, bonus report, and a thin black crate with metal in it. He actually did it. He stabbed me in the back. My nurses stopped me from smashing the room and held me down on the floor. I cried in their metal shoulders, grieving for getting separated from my partner, from the fray, from the adrenaline-induced battles. A storm of thoughts is brewing in my mind, painting the situations for me, like going back home, disembarking the drone, and the first contact with the civilians. I cried. He hasn't showed up to say goodbye, not even a message in the visor that he cared. The engine stirred up my hair, but I waited for him. Looking at the video, when we were lying in bed, I was tempted to locate his wife and send her the preview. "Hey, are you coming?" Someone shouted from the drone. I haven't bothered to look. After a second, I made peace with everything and started walking towards the aircraft. Even when we were taking off, I looked through the window, hoping to see him in the runway. The cheerful sound of boys and girls going home was background music to me, nothing more. He wasn't there. "Is this seat taken, madam?" Electronic voice distracted me. I swung my head about and saw a cloud of a man standing near the empty seat. A man so huge it had to bow when passing the corridor. "Yes," response rolled off my mouth as I returned to the window. He hasn't spoken for a while, but I suppose he found courage when I heard him clear his throat, which was unnecessary for cyborgs to do. I smiled at him, thought he was nervous like a schoolgirl. You must be downloading a patch since you're that quiet. And I don't mean to interrupt, but I'd like to ask you something." The champ spoke, politely, nervous, but politely. "Sure, soldier." I sent him a smile, a genuine expression for his clumsiness. "I couldn't help not notice the markings on your uniform, and I briefly scanned your luggage. Please don't be mad. I served as a scout sniper in the regiment. It's a professional deformity." Poor guy shrunk like I was about to demolish him. "Were you in any way a sniper too?" he asked, and I nodded with short when he put on a broad smile over his face. "Wow, so what unit you were in?" Just the look of him, happy like a child, I indulged him with specifics of my combat activity. "Whoa, 3 purple hearts? I wish I had one," he said, saddened by the constant troubles to reach some decorations on his shoulder. "Even he has lots, but no purple among them." "I can give you one." I served it with a smile, and we both laughed. "Pardon my manners, I haven't even introduced myself properly. I'm Albert Hooverworth. Call me Bert." We shook hands. "Well, you can call me Charmed, Bert. I'm Sophia." The flight was long enough for us to bond, enough for him to ask me out and offer me to join him in the repair shop he owned. Moving on was hard, yet easier in company of the people liking you. The end. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Until the next story, take care. Bye.